My neighbor reported the water barrier on my top floor terrace as an illegal add-on. The code enforcement guys showed up that same day and I didn't argue or beg. I agreed to tear it down on the spot. My neighbor stood downstairs with his arms crossed, looking smug as hell. That night, I hired a crew and had them smash the water barrier and drainage pipe clean off. The next day, a sudden storm hit. Without that water barrier guiding the runoff, the water turned into a waterfall pouring down the outside wall. Tons of rainwater came flooding straight into my downstairs neighbor's living room. Early the next morning, the property manager showed up at my door, eyes red, voice hoarse. "Please put that water barrier back. People on 6 floors have filed a joint complaint. Even their beds are soaked and ruined." I held my coffee and said slowly, "There's nothing I can do. I can't rebuild it." And right outside my door, the neighbor who reported me was standing in the hallway, looking dark as a sewer. When code enforcement came, I was sitting on the terrace having tea. 2 uniformed officers looked dead serious. They were holding a folder. "Are you Mr. Lin?" "Yes, we've received a complaint. The widened water barrier on your top floor exterior wall is an illegal structure. It needs to be removed." As he said that, he pointed downstairs and I looked where he was pointing. My downstairs neighbor Li Qiang was standing there with his arms crossed by the flower bed. He couldn't hide the smug look on his face. His wife was next to him, holding up her phone and filming me. No idea what she was muttering. I looked back at the officers and said, "Okay." They froze for a second, clearly not expecting me to be this cooperative. The whole speech and rule book they'd prepared got stuck in their throats. "What did you say?" I said. "Okay, I'll tear it down. Where do I sign?" Even the younger officer behind him looked shocked. They'd handled plenty of top floor owners crying, screaming, and throwing fits over illegal additions. Someone like me, this straightforward? First time. The officer snapped out of it and pulled out the official removal notice from the folder. "According to regulations, you have 3 days to remove it yourself." I took the pen and signed my name at the bottom. "I don't need 3 days. I'll tear it down tonight. Thanks for your cooperation." After they left, I pulled out my phone. I called old Zhang from the construction crew. "Old Zhang, got a job for tonight. Tear down the whole water barrier and leave the drainage pipe gone too." There was a pause on the other end. "Boss Lee, rush work this late at night costs extra. Double pay, cash. Start before 10. At 10:30 that night, old Zhang came up with 3 workers carrying tools. The sound of drills and hammers was brutally loud in the night. I stood on the terrace and watched the lights in Li Qiang's apartment turn on and off, then on again. By 2 a.m., the water barrier and drainage pipe were nothing but rubble. Old Zhang wiped his sweat. "Damn, boss, you really went through with it?" I lit a cigarette. Yep. At 6 a.m. the next morning, the forecasted downpour showed up right on time. Rain slammed onto the concrete rooftop and quickly turned into pooling water. Without the water barrier to direct it, the water found a new route, the outer wall. I stood by the window and watched as the rain formed a wide waterfall down the wall, hitting Li Qiang's balcony and windows on the 6th floor dead on. In less than 10 minutes, I could hear Li Qiang downstairs absolutely losing his mind. The rain kept falling all afternoon. Li Qiang came up and pounded on my door 3 times and nobody answered. Early the 3rd morning, the rain stopped, and the property manager showed up at my door looking exhausted. His eyes were bloodshot and his voice was rough. "Mr. Lin, please rebuild the water barrier. People on 6 floors filed a joint complaint. Auntie Wang's solid wood bed is already swollen and ruined." I took a sip of coffee. "That was an illegal structure. I can't rebuild it." Li Qiang heard that from the hallway, and his face instantly turned black as a pot. He wanted to say something, but nothing came out. After all, he was the one who reported me. After the manager left, Li Qiang stood in the hallway for a full 5 minutes. He opened his mouth a few times, but in the end, he didn't say a word and just went downstairs. I shut the door and watched his frustrated back through the peephole. Felt great. At 3 p.m., the neighborhood group chat blew up. Auntie Wang from the 6th floor posted over a dozen photos. Her living room ceiling was leaking badly, and big chunks of paint were peeling off. Her imported flooring had already buckled, and the guy on the 5th floor, Old Chen, had it even worse. His brand new leather sofa had been warped by the water, and all the wood carvings on his coffee table were covered in mold. People on the 4th and 3rd floors started chiming in too, saying their balcony walls were soaked through. Water was seeping in through the window frames, but the worst hit was still Li Qiang. His wife posted a 3-minute video in the group chat. I clicked on it, and in the video their living room looked like a full-on cave waterfall. The wall by the window looked like somebody had dumped buckets of water on it, and rainwater was streaming straight down. There was a layer of water all over the floor, and that so-called $100,000 imported Italian sofa of theirs was sitting right in the flood, with the leather already wrinkling and turning pale. Next to the TV stand, a 65-inch flat screen was blacked out, with water still dripping from the base. Li Qiang's wife was sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. "This place cost us 500 grand to renovate. Linya, you have to pay for this." The group chat went dead silent for a few seconds, and then somebody posted a question mark emoji. By 6 p.m., Li Qiang finally snapped. I was in the kitchen cooking when suddenly there was violent banging at the door. "Open up, Linya! Open the damn door!" His voice was full of rage and desperation, shaking the security door so hard it buzzed. I turned off the stove and walked over nice and slow. Through the peephole, I could see his red eyes and twisted face. I opened the door and Li Qiang almost charged in. I put out an arm and stopped him. "Something you need, Mr. Li?" My tone was as calm as if I were asking about the weather. "Something I need? Look at what happened to my place. You have to pay me, at least 500 grand. I leaned against the doorframe. "Mr. Li, what does your leak have to do with me?" Li Qiang was shaking with anger. "If you hadn't torn down that water barrier, would my place be flooded?" I nodded, turned around, and picked up the demolition notice from the entry cabinet. I waved it in front of him. "Mr. Li, you were the one who reported my illegal structure. This is the official removal notice issued by code enforcement. I was just cooperating with the law and removing it as required. So what now? You want me to build an illegal structure again?" Li Qiang's face instantly turned the color of liver. He grabbed the notice and looked at it, hands shaking. Then you still couldn't just tear it down without saying anything. You should have told the people downstairs first. I laughed. Code enforcement gave me 3 days. Tearing it down early was me actively cooperating. As for notifying you, that's nowhere in the notice. Li Qiang's lips were trembling. After a long pause, he finally forced out, "This is revenge. You're doing this on purpose." Watch what you say, Mr. Li. Slander comes with legal consequences. I'm just a law-abiding citizen. I only removed an illegal structure. He wanted to argue back, but realized he had nothing. From start to finish, he was the one who started all this. Li Qiang shot me a hard look and stormed downstairs. As he left, he tossed out one last line. "This isn't over!" I closed the door and smiled a little. "Not over? Fine. Let's see." Then I heard Auntie Wang downstairs yelling angrily, "Li Qiang, stop right there! Who's paying for the damage to my place?" While Auntie Wang had Li Qiang cornered downstairs, it started raining again. Not a storm this time, just that non-stop drizzle. But that kind of rain was even worse because it was going to last. It just kept falling and seeping in. I stood by the window watching the chaos below. Auntie Wang had a death grip on Li Qiang's sleeve, and old Chen came down from the 5th floor too. He was holding that moldy wood carving and shoved it right in Li Qiang's face. "Look at this! I paid 30,000 for this in Jingdezhen and now it's completely ruined." Li Qiang was trapped between the two of them, his face going pale, then flushed, then pale again. He kept trying to explain, but the rain drowned out most of what he said. The rain lasted all the way into the night, and when I woke up on the 4th morning, it was still raining. I looked out the window and the whole building's outer wall was completely soaked. From the 6th floor all the way down to the 1st, it looked like someone had painted it a darker color. Down by the flower bed, the property manager was checking the seepage on the outer wall. His face looked awful. At 10 a.m., the property manager knocked again. This time he brought Li Qiang and Uncle Lu, the HOA committee director. The 3 of them stood at my door looking serious. "Mr. Lin, I want to talk something over with you." The manager spoke carefully. "It's still raining and things downstairs are getting worse. The 6th floor residents have basically all taken damage and the losses are already over $1 million. I leaned against the doorframe and listened as the manager swallowed hard and continued. "I know that water barrier was technically illegal, but given the situation, could you maybe put up some kind of temporary drainage setup first, even a simple one? Once the rain stops, we can remove it again." Before I could say anything, Li Qiang cut in. "Lin Ye, we're all neighbors here. Don't be so heartless. I admit I was wrong to report you, but you still can't just stand by and watch the whole building suffer like this. This is a moral issue, you get that?" I looked at him. "A moral issue? Mr. Li, when you reported my illegal structure, why didn't you talk about morality then?" Li Qiang flushed red. "That's different. That was illegal.